We are back, everyone. Great to have you here today. We're about to dive into episode 116 of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. So excited you could join me here today. And that is because we're going to be going through the top 10 niches. This is literally up-to-date information. Just closed out the year, well, technically 90 days ago. And now we have the up-to-date statistics of what are the top 10 niches or most popular parts of health coaching. And this includes everything from nutrition and supplementation and lifestyle and articles and overall searches. So really looking forward to bringing this to you because I think this is information that everyone could use. Because if you're putting out content to the general public, if it's in one of these 10 areas, then you are going to do really well for yourself. So without further ado, let's dive in. All the show notes today will be at ihp.coach/116. The top 3 takeaways will be there as well, just like they are for every single podcast. And what I'd like to do as well is just make sure that you can check out all of the back podcasts, all the previous 115 at ihp.coach/podcasts. All right, let's dive right in. So I am going to share with you that these niches are not in any particular order. And I did that for several reasons. One is they kind of bounce around every single year. They really do. So, okay, the top one, might be XYZ this year, but then maybe it's 4 next year. And so they just fluctuate just a little bit. And here's the thing. You shouldn't focus on, what's the very most popular niche? Because the thing is, whatever's the most popular is probably going to have also the most competition around it, right? So if your niche isn't on here, don't feel bad. And the reason is, if in the grand scheme of things, if you think about it, if you have 100 clients, and believe me, there's 100 clients in any niche, you could literally just be working on like foot rehabilitation as a personal trainer, and you would have you'd have so many virtual clients because you're even more niche down. Trust me, that's not even in the top 100 niches, right? But there's so many people looking for that specific information. And if you're the only one talking about it, well, believe me, you're going to get the majority of the clients. So again, feel free to niche down even further, at least in the beginning. That is what I recommend. Remember, 100 clients. That's a lot of clients. Anybody who's, just think about it. You're out there, you're teaching information, what you think is an obscure thing. No, people will find you and then they'll refer. You might even work with clinicians that are referring because you are so specialized in that thing. And again, just think about it. If you're charging $150 and you're doing 100 appointments a month, that's what? I mean, that's $15,000, right? If my math is correct. So trust me, the reason why I'm saying that is that yes, it's $15,000 that you can be a specialist in any niche. So please don't feel bad if your niche is not on here. All right, let's get started. So the first one I want to share with you is sleep. So sleep has always been one of the top niches for health coaches. Now, what does it look like if you were a health coach that specialized in sleep? Well, you would literally be putting out at least 2 to 3, ideally once a day, posts on Instagram, which would then also the same post would be posted on Facebook as well. And maybe you do something for TikTok too. But you're doing a post on a sleep tip. That's it. Nothing super long, nothing super exaggerated. Why? Because you need to do this consistently over time. Again, we teach this inside the business mentorship experience. We share with you all the time of it's all about consistency. You could post every day for 2 weeks, and then if you're just gone for 2 weeks, people are going to see you as unreliable. So I'd rather someone post 3 days a week, every single week, than post every day, a lot of stuff, and then don't do anything for a couple of weeks, okay? So here's the thing. You are going to then be known as the sleep expert. How do you become the sleep expert without telling everybody that you're the sleep expert, right? Well, what do? Well, here's what you do. First, you put it in your profile, right? You'll talk about how you are, let's just say an IHP focused in sleep expertise or sleep rebalancing, whatever it might be, okay? But here's the thing. You just post every day. People will know you're the expert once you start sharing the knowledge. Once you're sharing things like, hey, did you know low vitamin B6 could be the reason why you're not getting a good night's sleep? And you're like, what do you mean vitamin B6? That's the only vitamin? Oh, it says here, whether in a swipe or in your post or in a video, low vitamin B6 does not allow for tryptophan to become 5-hydroxytryptophan. It actually doesn't allow 5-hydroxytryptophan to become serotonin. And if you're not producing enough serotonin, you can't calm that central nervous system. And if you don't produce enough serotonin, you can't produce enough melatonin. There are people like, I had no idea. And if this person knows this, imagine what else they know. And then they see you as a sleep expert. All right. So hopefully that makes sense, right? But sleep is one of the top 10 niches. You can just work with people in their sleep. But then when you're on a call with them, then you say, yeah, I also have bloating and I have gas, and that's why sometimes it keeps me up. You're like, oh, okay. Have you ever thought about running a candida metabolic and vitamins test or a parasite and bacteria stool test? And like, no. Like, oh, well, if you want, we can actually assess your bacterial levels, your yeast levels, and other issues that might be causing you cramping, bloating, and gas. Like, that would be amazing. You do that too? Yes, I do, right? So that's why you start with a niche, and then you can always help more people. But you need to get them in the door. You need to show them first that you care, post great content, answer their comments, right? Their DMs, and then offer them a free consultation. And then they will become a client. Not every single one, but the vast majority if you've shown them value, right? It's always about giving more than you get. All right, the second one is this. We just talked about sleep. Well, kind of something that goes hand in hand with sleep is energy. You're known as the energy expert, and you start creating posts as well. Hey, did you know that by getting too much blue light at night after 7 p.m., you actually hurt your body's ability to get into a deep sleep at night, which then doesn't allow for true full body rejuvenation, which then can leave you groggy and tired in the morning? And they're like, I didn't know that, right? And so you start to go through these different things, and then you might do a separate tip just on blue light blocking glasses, and another one just on amber lights, and another one on what to do if you're in a hotel room and there's lights all over the room, and like all these different tips that you can give. And then one on nutritional supplements, and then one, don't exercise too close to bed, don't eat too close to bed, running a stress, mood, and metabolism test to find out if you have high evening cortisol. Remember, like, you can do all of these different things, right? So energy is a great one, all right? So energy is a good one, but if you're going to teach on energy, bring the energy, right? Bring the energy to your videos. All right, the next niche is skin, hair, nails, and beauty overall, right? So, but not the beauty as you can definitely recommend your favorite, and you should, your favorite skincare routine. No problem with that. But then you're going to recommend internal skincare routines. But then you're going to talk about how nutrition affects your skin, your hair, your nails. Not just from like the food you put in, but also the food that you put in that's harmful, like omega-6s and oxidized polyunsaturated fatty acids and straight sugar, those types of things, right? So you're going to start to teach on that. So great niche. And you can even then start to talk about things that are more pertinent to times, like COVID and hair loss, right? And or low thyroid and thinning hair. So again, having all those nice little areas that you can talk about within your niche is absolutely fantastic. All right, another one is joint pain, but I'm going to call it joint soreness. You can't really use joint pain and pain in general as your niche. You can, but then you can't talk about remedies in the same time, because pain is considered a medical condition. I know, but it is one of those things you have to watch out for. So something like joint soreness or stiffness, I think would be more appropriate, and people will know what you're talking about, right? Or you can still talk about pain, joint pain. You just can't then talk about the remedy for that joint pain in the same post, right? So again, I'm not giving you any legal advice. That's not what I'm here for today, but that's obviously a great niche. It could even just be back pain, or it could be just knee pain. Trust me, there's enough of that going around for sure. All right. I have a couple private mentorship clients, and their niche is menopause and postmenopausal women. So what their niche is they're helping women to balance their hormones, improve their energy, improve their mood, their vitality, their libido, their strength, their overall zest for life postmenopause. And they do really, really well, because they're also the epitome of that. They model that in their own life, right? So really, really great niche. Big fan of this one. I mean, this isn't one that I put in here for the top 10 because, men can be a little bit more challenging to work with, but I have colleagues who do, if you knew, you'd be like, that's insane. They do ridiculously well, like insanely well. And what they do is they help men over 40. That's their niche. Men over 40, men over 40, men over 40. Because under that, it's more like, hey, whatever guy on Instagram can take the most amount of steroids and show the most amount of shirtless photos is going to get all the clients in their like 20s and early 30s. So if you're going to niche here, you definitely want to do over 40. All right. All right. The next one, I think this is number 6, is digestion. Bloating, gas, discomfort. That is what your niche is going to be. Because how many people do we know? They don't even want to talk about it. They get bloated after almost everything they eat. They get bloated by the time it gets to afternoon time. They feel it's embarrassing. They just don't feel well, and they would trade anything in order to get rid of this, right? So, I mean, we do so much work in digestion, so much work in hormones, right? We just kind of talked about hormones. Again, men over 40, let me help you optimize your testosterone naturally. Let me share with you a realistic workout program to do with guys who aren't on steroids, like all these different things. So, okay, digestion, enormous niche. Even just absolutely enormous. You can do at-home lab testing for it, food sensitivity, parasites. You can do candida. You can do bacteria. So many great things. So many great protocols. All right, so that's a big, big one right there. The next one, well, it only affects like 1 out of 3 people, and it's blood sugar. Blood sugar for what? Well, you can even niche down in blood sugar. Blood sugar for type 2 diabetes. Got to be careful there because you're saying a disease name, right? So, but we can just do posts on it if we want. We just can't say, hey, we help cure your diabetes. That's illegal. Okay, so what can we say? Well, we can work on blood sugar for rebalancing the body, but blood sugar is also for what? PCOS. Blood sugar is for cardiovascular issues. Blood sugar is for blood pressure issues. Blood sugar is for, of course, diabetes, and namely aging in general. So it's a great niche to use. I mean, there are so many people with, first of all, type 2 diabetes, which again, I'm not providing any medical treatment plans, cures, or diagnosis, but we know that you can reverse type 2 diabetes, okay? So there is that, and of course, a lot of work with that, but for sure, you can get these people healthy and they'll love you for it. There's no doubt about that. So a great one there. The next one, you may or may not have thought about this one, and I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not. And that is vision. More and more people are, I don't want to say losing their vision. They're having eye health issues at a younger age because we stare at screens all day, right? I'm literally looking at I've got my laptop doing a backup recording. I've got my camera, which is emitting light. I've got lights here on my face. So I'm nice and bright. And if I'm looking at my phone, I've got more light, right? So here's the thing. We have to understand that our vision is very important to us. And although there's amazing medical breakthroughs, people's eyesight's getting worse and worse. It really is. And that's just so much blue light, LEDs, etc. So this is a great area. I mean, it seems like a strange niche maybe to you, but not if you have eye health issues. Then you know how important it is. And again, you can niche within this. Working with people with macular degeneration, with eye floaters, with eye strain, like dry eye. There are so many niches. I have a colleague that just does dry eye, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So there you go. It's another great one. And again, it is the top 10. It was in my top 10. That one surprised me. I'm going to be honest with you. None of these surprised me whatsoever. That one did. Vision surprised me. The next one is this. Hormone imbalances. I kind of talked about that with menopause, but menopause is not a hormonal imbalance. It leads to hormonal imbalances because the hormones don't lower in the proper ratio at the same time. So a lot of women are left with lower estrogen, lower normal progesterone, and that leads to all sorts of issues, or normal or estrogen and then low progesterone, so normal estrogen, low progesterone, which is then estrogen dominance. They may still be holding on strong to testosterone, then it's leading to facial hair growth. And so again, there's hormonal imbalance there. But I'm talking about hormonal imbalance in terms of infertility. I'm talking about hormone imbalances in terms of PCOS, in terms of, I used it before, but you could say andropause, for men. So Really great niche to be in. One of my favorite niches. I love helping people rebalance their hormones naturally because you can do it without bioidentical hormones or hormones in general. And the last niche is anti-aging. This one has surged. It surged. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's been surging since the late 80s. So like it's definitely been surging since the 80s, but now it's at fever peak. And the reason is that people in their 60s and 70s know that they have more life to live. They want than they expect to live longer, yet life expectancy is not keeping up with what their expectations are. The average lifespan is still 75 to 78 years, man to woman. But I'm telling you right now, people keep saying it's in the 80s. It's in the 80s. That's true. If you don't die from cardiovascular disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes complications, or stroke, high blood pressure. But I mean, yeah, still the majority of people, like 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, have one of those conditions. So again, I think it's an amazing niche. This is something that we're really going deep into with Equal Life and our coaching team and with our whole longevity-based line that we have, because now the research is there. It's legitimately there. We know what helps to balance healthy levels of inflammation and help support mitochondrial function. And again, I won't get into it today, but everything else. And you don't have to be the expert right now, but if this interests you, great, learn about it, right? I mean, literally begin to read more on it, learn more about it. I'll be coming out with an in-depth course this fall. Again, it's totally optional, of course, but I'll be going in depth on this because I find it so utterly fascinating. And whatever I'm fascinated in, I love to also teach. And maybe you're the same exact way. Well, great. Then that's a niche for you. You're going to get out there and teach it. And other people are going to be drawn to you because of your passion for that topic. Again, I don't choose a topic because I'm like, oh, a lot of people like this, I should do it. No, I choose something because I'm passionate about it, because there's so many topics out there. Might as well just choose one that speaks to you. So if you did not hear your niche on this top 10, it's okay. It actually just means that it's a deeper niche. There's still tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that want to work with you. And that means it's also less competitive because these 10 are much more competitive. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means there's more eyeballs, but there's also more people then competing for those clients. So what I would say is niche within a niche, use one of these, create great content, show interest. And again, the future really is open to health coaches who are willing to do more work on themselves, learn more, share more, and they'll be rewarded. They really will. I truly believe that. I've seen it work out over my entire career and for many of my colleagues as well. Just work hard, help as many people as you can, do good work. You'll get referrals and you'll just continue to grow. It's that easy. It's not that easy, but you know what I'm saying. That is what's going to allow you to build a career that you can feel proud of, and you'll see it just continue to exponentially grow year after year after year. And that's really what it's all about. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Of course, we'll be back each and every week with more Integrative Health Coach Success podcasts.